So you ventured into Valheim's mountains, but it's so cold your balls are literally taking frost damage from frostbite, making the mountain region impossible to survive. This quick Valheim guide will show you how to survive the mountains easily. You have 3 options to survive frost damage. The best option is to craft yourself a wolf cape. And this frost cape gives you a resistance to frost, so it just makes you immune to that frost damage, which is incredible. Since you only need 4 wolf fur, a wolf trophy, and 4 silver. However, silver can only be found in the mountains, which you cannot enter without dying. So we'll talk about this option more in a moment. The next method is to literally make a trail of campfires, so you can't die in the cold because they're constantly warming you. If you're near a fire, you'll no longer be freezing, so you can regain your health until you're ready to move on again. But if it's snowing, the fire will get extinguished, unless it's sheltered. While this is an option, it is really inefficient. The third option is to make frost resistance mead, which gives you 10 minutes resistance to the cold. And each time you craft a batch, you get 5 of them. So in total you have almost an hour of cold resistance, which is plenty of time to explore the mountains and obtain the wolf cape, which should be your first priority. So let me explain how to craft them. And in return, all I ask is that you drop a like on the video. You don't even need to subscribe. So step 1, find a queen bee. You can find these easily right at the start of the game in the Meadows starter region. Just look out for ruined, abandoned houses, and they have a chance to spawn a beehive inside of them. These can be destroyed in melee combat by punching them with your bare hands. But they can also poison you, so I actually suggest using a bow to kill them, it's much safer. Once they're dead, they will drop a queen bee, which will unlock the ability to craft beehives, with 10 wood and 1 queen bee each. Step 2. Craft as many beehives as you can, but don't place them too close to each other, otherwise they will not produce as much honey. Usually they produce 1 to 2 honey a day, but make sure that you harvest them at least once a day because they only hold up to a maximum of 4 honey, and then they just stop producing. Quick tip, honey gives you 20 health and stamina, but I do suggest just saving it for the next step. Bank all of the honey, my friends. Step 3. Now we need to craft a cauldron and a fermenter. To create these items, you need bronze and tin. I've already made a video linked down below in the description on how to get both of these resources really easily and also make bronze if you're confused. Once you've got the materials, start out by crafting a cauldron with 10 tin. You must also place a fire underneath it for it to actually work. Then you need to craft a fermenter with 30 fine wood, which you can get from cutting down birch trees or oak trees in the meadow area using a bronze axe or an iron axe. And you also need 5 bronze and 10 resin. It must also have a forge nearby. To make the fermenter actually work, it also needs to be sheltered or roofed, and then you can actually use it. So make a nice little shelter for it. Step 4. Crafting the frost resistance mead. Firstly, using the cauldron, you need to make the mead base for frost resistance to become a true Nord of Skyrim. Firstly, you need 10 honey that you'll be getting from the beehives. Secondly, you'll need 5 thistles, which can easily be found all over the dark forest, growing pretty much everywhere, and they look like this. You'll also need a single greydwarf eye, which can be found as a random drop from killing greydwarf enemies. They're pretty easy to get. And the last ingredient is 2 bloodbags, which can be obtained from leeches in the swamp biome. Leeches are really easy to kill. They randomly spawn in puddles when you're nearby in the swamp area, and they cannot actually go on land, so you can use a bow to kill them from a distance, or if you just spam attack them, they'll get staggered and they won't be able to hit you back to poison you. Add all of these ingredients into the pot to craft a mead base for frost resistance. Finally, take this mead base, put it in the fermenter, and it will take 2 days to actually ferment, and then you'll be able to harvest it for a stack of 10 frost resistance mead, which will last for 6 minutes each. Now if you swig one of these, your crown jewels will be protected from frostbite, so you can run around the mountains without taking any frost damage. And it will also give you damage resistance to frost-based attacks as well, so it is fantastic for the 4th boss. If you're struggling with that, got a video coming out soon. Subscribe! Now, back to my original point about getting the much better wolf armor cape. Once you have the furry cape, you will never need to bother crafting frost resistance mead again, unless you want that additional frost resistance. So, to get the wolf cape, you need to kill the wolves for wolf pelts, and also the wolf head trophy, which is randomly dropped by a wolf. If you see a wolf with a star next to them, they have a higher chance to drop it, but also they have a higher chance to screw you over as well with their increased damage output. Do take care because wolves do a ton of damage, so make sure you bring a shield to parry them and don't take on more than one of them at once. You actually need 6 wolf pelts in total and 1 wolf trophy to craft the wolf cape. But you also need to mine silver, which only exists in the mountain biome. However, it is very hard to find, and often you actually need to mine underground to find the ore vein where you get silver. So to find the location of silver to actually mine, you need to acquire a wishbone, which drops from the 3rd boss in the swamps, called the Bonemass. I have a guide on how to kill him linked below if you are struggling. But once you've killed him, he'll drop the wishbone, which then if you go ahead and activate it while it's in your inventory, it will start flashing like a metal detector. And as you get closer to silver, it will start flashing more rapidly, telling you that there's silver in that location. Only in the mountains though. And then you just basically need to dig downwards until you come across a silver ore vein, which you then require an iron pickaxe to actually mine. I already made a video on where to get iron so you can make an iron pickaxe, which I also linked below. It's turning into a bit of a Wikipedia page, isn't it, my friends? How exciting! Once you've got all these ingredients, you can go ahead and craft yourself the wolf furry cape. You can craft yourself a full set of wolf armor if you like, however, it requires a butt ton of silver. So it's really not worth crafting. I would actually go for the next armor upgrade, which is the padded armor, unless you want to be a true furry, in which case I understand, totally don't mind, that's okay, we accept that. I should also mention the medium-based stamina mead is incredible, and so is the minor stamina one as well earlier on. And poison resistance is also essential for the swamp biome, so I highly recommend crafting this as well. Drop a howl or a woof in the comment section if you got this far, and I'll see you in the next video.